the retail performance, it's actually surprisingly remained buoyant. And sportswear has been coming up on top. I'm not gonna lie, I've actually been one of those people who have been buying into sportswear, and I'm trying to figure out why I even buy them myself. I mean, we're all on like lockdown right now and trying to be fit at home. But do you think this is one of the reasons why consumers are gravitating towards sportswear more as well?
Pandemic has definitely laid a profound impact on all of us, especially the fashion consumers of Southeast Asia. Yeah. So if you think about it, we no longer spend any time in the office, any time traveling, any time socializing, and this has definitely shaped our consumption of fashion products, especially apparel items which are meant to represent a proud expression of ourselves. Yeah? From what we learned through our data and insights across the last few months, we can definitely see a trend of consumers gravitating towards like sportswear, and for a combination of reasons. Yeah? Firstly, if you think about the nature of the product itself, sportswear products are designed to be comfortable. Yeah? Sports brands focus on developing their product offering to be more focused on technical improvements like better material, better cooling, better heat resistance, and so on. So naturally, this is one product that you're always going to gravitate to because these are just comfortable products. Yeah? Secondly, sportswear products are designed to be multi-purpose daily wear. One could easily wear a pair of leggings or tights all day to work from home, do household chores, do the occasional grocery run, and I think importantly also to work out at home. Yeah. And I think finally, I would say across the years, sportswear products has definitely upped their game in terms of fashionability. Yeah. You could see the assortment of all the major brands, or even non-sports brands who create sportswear products. You could see that they evolve throughout the years from traditional clothes to sweat in to products that you can match your outfit for any casual occasion. Yeah. So I think that's what I noticed throughout the learnings within pandemic and why people love sportswear products so much.
It's surprising that you also mentioned sportswear blurring the lines between technical fabrics and being also fashionable at the same time. Do you think this is something that over the past few years we've seen trends like that prevalent in fashion systems and in fashion cycle? For example, we've had Balenciaga, all these fashion brands coming out with streetwear kind of infused collections. Do you think this is something that we've brought on to our daily lives and we have kind of taken it further with the pandemic in mind?
Yes. I think most definitely. And I think this trend also goes way before the pandemic period. So the one concrete example I could give is that if you think about also how we dress in society now, especially when I think about office workwear, I think gone are the days where people wear traditional business suits, or they wear really formal wear, for most of their work and most of their daily times, and people would accept a more casual norm towards what their outfits are, right? For any occasion. Yeah? Now, I think this has truly transpired in terms of integrating sportswear into all aspects, of fashion products, ranging from really luxury brands to mass market products and so on. You could easily find a pair of leggings or a sportswear inspired sneaker in between that really applies to all customers within the fashion world.
Great. Now, apart from it being fashionable, do you think in terms of health concerns, especially now that we're faced with the pandemic, do you think that has also driven the demand for sportswear? And if so, to what extent?
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. According to our data, and we did, survey, and we're very close to our customers, and we understand their voices. Staying fit and healthy is among the top priorities for consumers, especially in these pandemic times. Yeah. Health and fitness conscious consumers, are putting workout at home as their number one goal and activity to help them get through this tough lockdown period. And this has definitely been the main reason sportswear products, have been so popular across the last 6 months. because they realized that, oh, okay, so this is a multifunctional wear that, I could also work out at home, I could wear at home, I could, easily get on Zoom calls at home. And I think most importantly, it gives them the convenience that, they could just, be healthy and be fit with the attire that they have.
So as you know, social media is a huge, let's say a pastime for us, especially as Southeast Asians. We're constantly on our phones, like give us a moment where we're without our phones, we don't know how to human at all. Day. But with that in mind as well, you see a lot of influencers on Instagram, and they're always like, portraying this very fit and healthy lifestyle. It's sort of a peer pressure thing as well. Even though you're not working out at home, I'm somehow guilty of that. So what they say when if you didn't take a picture of it, it didn't happen.
Yes.
So I'm also taking pictures of myself, a selfie of myself in my workout gear, although I'm not exactly working out. Do you think people also buy into that?
Well, what I noticed is that, I think at least personally, all my Instagram feeds is all about people in nice workout gears and, people like, doing yoga moves. And I think this has been probably the most popular, feed you could see across social media. And I think you also hit it on the nail in terms of why it's so popular. Because as we stay at home more and as we don't go out more, we are more and more exposed to our digital devices and also digital media. Yeah? And I would say that the role that influencers play, for the next few years is going to be even more prevalent, because customers now, or to be more exact, everybody, they get to choose what they see, and they get to personalize, people, how they follow people, how they look at media and so on. So social media could play a huge role in this industry, especially in the years going forward.
Great. Now going back to the demand for sportswear, how do you think this had played out within the landscape of ZALORA? If you have any data that you can share with us as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think just if I were to give some examples, I think number one, we definitely see a strong increase in our more mature customers. So even consumers which are over 40, they also bought more sportswear products across the last 6 months. That is on top of the strong growth we have in our core fashion customers. I would say the mid-20s to mid-30s, female consumers within ZALORA. So that's observation number one. Number two, also that the difference between people who live in the city, so what we call urban customers, and rural customers and remote customers. Yeah. Now, I think this all plays into the fact that you can't just travel to a store anymore, to your favorite brand store and your favorite shopping mall to pick up products, and you have to rely on online shopping even more to get access to your brands. Yeah? And this is where ZALORA really plays in, because not only do we connect strongly with urban customers, but we also have a huge share of customers that live outside, I would say, 10 kilometers of major metropolitan cities. Yeah? Now, this has been a huge growing core bunch of customers for us, because the development of Southeast Asia as it is, there's more and more growing affluent middle class that lives outside of the main capitals. And then this has also driven a strong need and demand for fashion products of what they see online. Yeah. Last but not least, I would say that from our supplier and from how we work together with our brands, we also play a huge role in terms of connecting them with their end customers, because we are the ones that do it very safely throughout this pandemic period. We are the ones that do it very conveniently, yeah, which we send to your doorstep, and we offer returns. We also provide the best digital description within the store, so that customers, while they browse through thousands of sites looking for the products, they have the peace of mind and security that when they buy from ZALORA, they're buying 100% authentic products, and they have the peace of mind that there's great customer service behind.
Great. Now, what do you think this all says about the post-pandemic consumer at large?
So hopefully, I think I really hope that the post-pandemic days are soon upon us. But in the broader sense of the market, what we notice is that the digitalization of things have definitely sped up, to a speed that we haven't seen before in the last few years. A new normal is definitely upon us, as the whole society is focusing on evolving into a digital-focused interaction. And if we specifically hone into our retail fashion industry, the shift from offline to online shopping is going to be the new normal, even as the pandemic subsides in the coming years. There's just more and more products available online, and it has never been more convenient to purchase products digitally.
Right.
So this also has a profound impact on brands and retailers in how we operate, because getting access to customers, so those untapped customers that you can't reach from your offline stores, it's even more crucial in the case of the post-pandemic period, where people are used to work from home and people are used to not traveling far distances to shops. They go online to do their shopping.
Right. Now, speaking of subsiding the cases and everything, when that happens, do you think the hype of sportswear will ride out anytime soon, or do you think that this has longevity in it?
Yes, I definitely think there's longevity in it. So if I look at the history of sportswear from the first best-selling legging that the brand has brought out until now, this trend has actually played along in the last 2-3 years. And the pandemic period, just for the reasons I mentioned before, just exponentially increased the popularity of these products. And I don't think it's going away anytime soon, because we've seen how people get casual and comfortable with those products. They identify with those products. And I think crucially, the life around them also changes, that these products are so acceptable everywhere that it will become a sort of new staple product. So if you imagine jeans or denim, which has been around us for 30 odd years, I see the same happening for activewear and sportswear.
When you said that over 40s are also one of the top consumers for sportswear, that was very interesting for me, because I didn't really consider them as the most active consumers. But there it is, the numbers say it. But what can you say of that? It's a very interesting demographic for me.
Definitely. I think for these demographic groups, right? So there's a few characteristics we have to bear in mind. Number one is, now they don't have to travel hours to get to work, especially in the case of Southeast Asia. They have more free time to work from home. That's number one. And number two, most of these customers also have family, or either with small kids, or with a small family group. And workout and doing exercise has definitely been the rising trend of what family activity should be. And in some cases in our country, in certain countries, it's the only thing that you could do. Yes, and I think you add on top that the health concerns and staying fit and staying healthy, with a consistent workout and consistent sporting activities at home, this has definitely given rise to the popularity of these products. And even more so that they could buy conveniently, online. I think this really adds to the factors of why we see a rise in the trend of these products.
Great. Now, apart from activewear, do you think there are product categories out there that is doing a lot better than others, considering how apparel is panning out at the moment?
Well, what we noticed across all our product categories is that sports and activewear is definitely leading charge in this case. We do see also a lot of loungewear, stay-at-home wear, especially your basics. It's like in the apparel products, these are selling quite well. And also, I'd say a very Southeast Asian thing, right? Slippers, sandals, these are very popular products.
When you said that for the Southeast Asian consumer, there are certain products that would fare differently from our Western counterparts. For example, like the house slippers, for example, right? Do you think there are any other aspects of the Southeast Asian that, in terms of consumer, right? Anything different that sets us apart from our other counterparts?
No, definitely. I think there's a huge difference in terms of what works well in Southeast Asia and what doesn't work in Southeast Asia, and especially when we compare to the West, to more European countries or American countries and so on. Yeah. So I think the first thing is the obvious part, which is we don't have 4 seasons in the weather. So there is less demand for technical needs of products where it's geared towards the autumn or gets the winter or sports jackets and so on and so on. Yeah. The second thing is, compared to Western economies, majority of Southeast Asia is on a very different level in terms of earning power and buying power. Yeah? I would say what comes really strong focus in the mind of consumers, especially when looking at products and especially sportswear products, is the term value for money. Yeah? They're seeking for not necessarily discounted, not necessarily the cheapest product in the market, but what really gives me the most value for money in this case, right? So what can I use for a bit more midterm to long term? What can I use for multiple occasions? Yeah. And if there was a dab of fashionability to it and a bit of trendiness to the product at a good price, that's usually the norm compared to like a Western countries. Yeah. Lastly, I want to touch on branding and how logos are perceived. So what I really noticed is that in Southeast Asia, consumers see branding as a strong sense of self-expression. Yeah, they wear their brand proud, and this really applies to especially with the sportswear brands and products. They would love to see the big logo, on either their tops, their leggings, the bag that they carry, the sandals that they wear, the sneakers that they wear, and so on. It's a very strong self-expression here. If I were to compare, let's say, a more subtle and more low-key, low-tone, kind of like Western European markets, I would say that is one of the big differences.
Let's talk about how there are 2 possible consumer groups at this point. When you mention how consumers now are looking for not quantity, value. That's what you mentioned.
Yes.
When consumers are looking more towards value, there are 2 groups here. You have one that is more focused or driven towards a value mindset, and you have another one which is quality based. So those who are willing to spend more on or invest more on quality products, and then you have those who are looking for products which are more bang for your buck, but at the same time, it could be in terms of the amount that you purchase.
Yes.
How does that relate? How does that pan out in this situation?
Definitely. I would say that, so one thing has to be clear, value for money doesn't necessarily mean the cheapest products. Yeah? So we do have ranges and products within our assortment that cover most of the lower price points that, to our learnings, hasn't actually done quite so well as you would say the mid-range, more commercially priced mid-range product, which offers you quality. Yeah? We see a pocket of growth, especially on staple products, on this kind of price points. And we also see growth in some of the more trendier luxury brands in terms of sportswear products. Yeah. So what it tells me is really I think there's a huge variety of mix of consumers within Southeast Asia, and one does not necessarily have to pigeonhole the whole Southeast Asia as just one market and just one sort of product. Where if you play your assortment and you offer really authentic products at a great price to consumers, you will find your market and find your consumers there. That is like, that is growing, on the daily, monthly, yearly basis in terms of sportswear products. Yeah. Are they trendsetters who would spend, larger amount of monies on more fashionable first launch products? Yes, absolutely. Those. And are they mid-range, customers that, also like spend, focusing on value for money in terms of their core message for products? Yes, too, so like these are the two products that actually ZALORA really speaks to in terms of our core customers. And then this is, has been the basis of why our sportswear products and our sportswear assortments has been doing so well within the industry. I have to say, it has definitely been a big learning curve for not only me, but the whole ZALORA, especially the whole team that's trying to manage the business. A few key takeaways really come to mind in terms of learning experience. So number one is being flexible and being agile in this industry at these times. I would say is the absolute most critical thing that that we can do to not only survive but also thrive in this post-pandemic period. I've seen cases where where brands are less flexible and more rigid. Things happen slower than compared to brands which are fast to react, and then really fast to adapt to situations. Yeah. Number two is, I think we have to also let go of what we always like to do, which is compare to last year and hopefully do the same things what we did last year, and have this hope that the pandemic will go away soon. Yeah, I think that's a very tricky assumption, but we just have to continue to adapt to the situation and just do the best that we can. Yeah. And I think third and lastly is that we had the benefits before the pandemic period to actually develop and acquire tools that would help us really analyze and learn a lot from a customer via their buying patterns and data. And then this has definitely helped us in this period, especially when you don't have any more offline data or you're limited access to trends and so on. This is something that has really helped us shape the business and help us keep on connecting to more and more consumers within Southeast Asia at a very fast rate in this pandemic period.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for all your answers. They've been very, very insightful.